After seeing what we saw, it was just like I had to, and I often think that if a recovery coach had met me at any of those flashpoints where I'd sort of thought maybe change is possible, I might have entered recovery a lot sooner. Yeah, I remember growing up in Don Mills, just outside Toronto. Fairly, like it felt to me like kind of a Tony area of Toronto. Like it felt like we were really looked after, and it felt like it was kind of like in a normal household. One of my earliest memories is my mom always used to know where to find me because like I was a really curious kid, and she'd always look under the porch because I'd always be there watching the spider build its web after a rainfall and want to see how he rebuilt it and how the raindrops drooped and all that kind of stuff. And look at all the bugs. I just had this insatiable curiosity for all things great and small. And it's something that's kind of lived with me, like I think all my life, even to this day. And we moved from there to Regina. And as we every move we made, things got a little more raucous in the household. My dad's drinking became a little heavier. I grew up in a household with 4 sisters and a brother that I was absolutely intensely close with. We were like best of friends. Still, probably one of the closest male relationships I've ever had in my life was with my brother. And I remember when we were in Regina, my brother snuck a bottle of my dad's whiskey, and we ran out in the snow in Regina, and he took a sip of it, and I thought, I gotta be along with this, so I took a sip of it too, and I could feel this fire going down in my guts, and it's like, oh my God, this is terrible. And then I felt this warmth like wash all over me, and almost could feel the snow melt away from my body as I was like, and I'm going, oh my God, that tasted like more. And I didn't start drinking regularly then. Things were still pretty normal at home. And then we moved to Vancouver, and things became pretty chaotic at home. Dad started drinking a lot, and it was a bit rough. And I started to dabble too, just to try and cope with what was going on in the household. And don't really know where it completely got out of hand. It was starting to get a little bit troubling, probably around 15, 16 years old. And then my dad's decline was steady and fast. And when I was 17, my brother and I found my dad in a hotel room with a shotgun in his lap. And he was gone. And then the drinking was all on. After seeing what we saw, it was just like I had to medicate to try and sort of mask what I had seen, and led to about a 14-year plunge into heavy drinking and experiments in, a few drugs. And when I hit about 31 years old, my mom had been 10 years in recovery, and I could see the trajectory of my life, and it was I was either going to get into some form of recovery or follow my dad's footsteps or get locked in an institution or get into a fatal accident or something wrong was going to happen. So I had kind of hit that fork in the road. And so I decided to give recovery a chance, and I dove in headlong. In '91, I put down the booze and entered 12-step facilitation, and basically didn't pick up since. And I'm 8 years later, like, my brother was trying to get to make AA and NA work for him, and had some differing success. He just couldn't make it work. And in '99, I was at my desk I was in journalism at the time, and I got a phone call, and we lost him. He had a heart attack at St. Paul's Emergency, and there's not a day that goes by I don't miss him. Like, not a day. And I continued on and ended up leaving journalism in 17. I was going to teach people in mindfulness, a practice that I'd been working on since I was 15 years old. And in journalism, I had this contact that Dr. Ray Baker was sort of like the guy you'd call for any matters of addictions. He was an addictions medicine doc. He asked me if I'd ever heard of a recovery coach. And I was like, I'd never heard the term before. And I thought, what is this, somebody who's like monetize their sponsorship? And he said, no. This is the missing piece of Canada's recovery-oriented system of care. And we need them up here wholesale. And he said, I'm flying to Connecticut to get trained on how to teach. And I said, I'm coming with you. So we both went to Connecticut in 18 and flew back and started training in January 2020. Ray also asked me at one point where my recovery began. And I was ready to give him that stock answer of when I hit my bottom, when I'd had enough, when I hit that fork in the road. But on reflection, there were all kinds of times before that where somebody had said to me something that I went, oh my God, like, I don't really have to live like this. Or any number of times where I rolled out of bed and said, I really got to get my stuff together here. And I also think that, if somebody had met my dad earlier, maybe in Regina, when his life was getting a little rocky, or had met my brother, while he was trying to make AA work, recovery coach had met him, either one of them, they might still be alive today. And that I never forget that there's a lot of people out there who are trying to make this work but just can't. And if they had somebody who came alongside them and said, hey, let's play with some ideas. What does recovery look like for you, and how can I help? I think we'd be a lot better. And so that motivates me to continue training really good recovery coaches, because I know they fan out there and they meet people and they change lives. So that continues morning by morning. It gets me out of bed in the morning, is to know that what we're doing is changing a lot of lives. And we continue to, like, our driving force is to raise the level of excellence as much as we can. because we're dealing with a very vulnerable population, and good recovery coaches are needed so badly out there, and somebody has to train them properly. So we kind of live and breathe. Everything we do is in service of that. So, I mean, if you're thinking about recovery, or you're, sober curious, as they say, and just think, maybe that might work for me, maybe it wouldn't. I urge you to draw from my experience, is that if you're kind of at that fork in the road and you're thinking maybe you're recovering, maybe not, give it a try. You can always go back, but at least give recovery a chance, and see what it looks like on that side. I love Carl Jung famously said once that the great privilege in life is becoming who you truly are. And, when we're drinking or using, we have to have a certain self-knowledge to really become who we truly are. And when we're drinking and using, things are muddy, and we can really never discover who we truly are. When we put it down for a while and get into recovery, a certain clarity comes. And when we have that clarity, we find purpose. And when we find purpose, we are unstoppable. So, poke your head into recovery, give it a shot if you're curious about it. You can always change your mind later. I doubt you will.